Throughout all the videos shown on this channel, we have seen that if the paranormal really exists, it has different ways of manifesting itself, and one of those forms is an audio format. There have been many psychophonies on television, recordings of things that never should have been heard, but that are there. And today you will witness a set of the most impressive audio manifestations that I have found. My name is Leonore Clay, and this is The Darkest Secret. Today we present terrifying phone calls made by spirits. In 2006, a well-known Chilean foundation witnessed one of the most unforgettable events that have ever occurred in that country. Something that even went viral despite of the year. It was shown all over the news, and both the date of the call and the death of the person you will know was confirmed. You see, the Fundación Niño y Patria is a private institution that, according to its website, seeks to prevent and protect children and adolescents at social risk. They generally call people's homes in order to find donors that would help with maintaining the foundation. This is how, one night, a housewife receives a seemingly programmed call. The call center operator informs the woman that earlier in the morning she spoke to a man named Gonzalo. After explaining everything about the foundation, the operator tells her that the man asked her to reschedule the call for that same night, since his wife could be of better service to her. Upon hearing all of this, the housewife replies, absolutely dumbfounded, that it is impossible for her to have spoken with Don Gonzalo, since her husband had died 14 months ago. Listen attentively to the recording.
¿Aló?
Hola, buenas noches.
Buenas noches.
Con la señora de Don Gonzalo.
Sí.
Buenas noches, mi nombre es Mildra Bustos, soy voluntaria de Fundación Niño y Patria.
Ya.
No sé si Don Gonzalo habrá conversado con usted, señora.
Don Gonzalo ya está fallecido.
¿Cómo está fallecido?
Sí. Mi esposo falleció. Ya.
¿Cuándo?
Sí. 14 meses ya.
¿Y cómo yo hablé con él? ¿A lo mejor será su hijo?
No, pero que aquí no hay ningún hijo conmigo en este momento.
¿Verdad?
¿De verdad?
¿Y con quién hablé? Estoy llamando al 857.
Sí.
¿Ya?
Sí.
¿Y usted no estuvo en todo el día, señora?
En todo el día.
¿Y no había nadie?
No.
No sé si yo hablé con él hoy día.
Ojalá que a mí me conteste el teléfono mi viejito algún día.
Señora, ¿me está hablando en serio? ¿Cuál es su nombre?
Le estoy hablando María Isabel Rodríguez Rojas.
Señora María Isabel, yo hablé con Don Gonzalo.
Ya.
Me imagino que me está hablando en serio, ¿verdad? Y él me dice que la que tomaba las decisiones en la casa era usted.
Exactamente.
Que usted decidía si era socia de nuestra red.
After this occurrence was discovered, the operator asked the organization to review the calls made that day to confirm the information. This is exactly how the call made by the operator that day was discovered.
¿Aló?
Sí,
Hola, buenas tardes.
buenas tardes.
Mi nombre es Mildra Bustos y soy voluntaria de Fundación Niño y Patria. ¿Con quién tengo el gusto?
Gonzalo Vargas.
Don Gonzalo, ¿cómo está?
Bien, usted.
Resfriada. Don Gonzalo, ¿se
Cuénteme.
nota?
Cuénteme.
Don Gonzalo, ¿usted conoce Fundación Niño y Patria?
Ya.
¿Podemos contar con su ayuda?
Deje conversarla con mi señora y
¿A qué hora lo puedo llamar, Don Gonzalo?
dame la tardecita, como después de las 6.
Después de las 6.
Sí,
Muy amable, Don Gonzalo.
cómo no.
Hasta luego.
Hasta luego.
The foundation decided to contact the owner of the house and ask her if she recognized the voice that had answered the call to her home that morning. Between despairing sobs, the woman replies that she does recognize that voice. As I told you a few minutes ago, this turned into a memorable event. The media went to this woman's house and even confirmed the death of her husband, and the date of the phone call. This is probably some of the most incredible evidence of life after death that I've ever seen. Still, until this day, this event remains unexplained. Number 3. A woman was coming home from work one day in April 2011. As she was looking through her purse for her keys, she heard the house phone ring. She hurried to open the door, but when she did, the phone had already stopped ringing. The only thing that could be seen was a flashing red light inside the room. It was the house phone indicating that it had a new message. She changed her clothes, quietly had dinner, and just before sitting down to watch television, she took the time to listen to the message. What she heard after hitting the message button was as terrifying as it was emotional. She froze for several seconds, wondering if what she had heard could be real. She replayed the recording, and yes, through lots of static, she heard the following. Pay attention.
Saved message. Saved message.
The voice seems to say, Grandpa. Her emotion and terror at that moment was due to the fact that that voice corresponded to her grandfather, a relative who had left this world approximately 2 months ago, precisely on December 23rd, 2010. Number 2. In various parts of the world, the ritual of burying people with their most precious belongings is very common. Some bury their relatives with letters or jewelry, but the O'Connell family did something very unusual. Leslie O'Connell, a 59-year-old woman, loved her cell phone because it allowed her to communicate with her grandchildren at all hours of the day. This is why, when she died of cancer, her family decided to bury her with the device, so her grandchildren could continue to send her loving messages and make her absence less painful. The first days after her death, between pain and tears, her grandchildren sent her messages of love and remembrance, obviously without any response. The messages diminished as the days went by, until the 8th night. One of the children of the O'Connell family received a strange message from his grandmother's cell phone. The message made no sense. It was a random set of letters. The surprised parents of the boy called the company to ask if it is possible to dial itself from underground. The parents told them the whole story, and the company's only answer was that it could have been a mouse. It's odd for mice to enter such a recent tune, but yet it could be possible. However, the feeling of losing a loved one forced one of her 22-year-old grandchildren to dare call his deceased grandmother's number. When they buried her, the device was turned on, which is why in several of his dozens of calls, the boy only heard the busy tone. Until to everyone's surprise and terror, the device was answered. The boy assures that the call lasted less than 5 seconds, and it was heard as if it were trying to tune into a radio station. The boy claimed to hear a fragment of an old song among a lot of interference. To this day, neither the family nor the telephone company knows how this could have happened. Number 1. The so-called imaginary friends have always been viewed with suspicion within the occult. They are quite common beings for children, aren't they? For children, these friends are not imaginary, but they actually do exist. They pull out chairs for them to sit in at a table during meal times and to play with them. Well, those of us who have been investigating these things for so long believe that some of these beings could be dangerous because they may not be imaginary, much less their friends. Instead, they could be some sort of specter or demon that feeds on the children's emotion. In fact, many believe that these beings cause those crude episodes of depression that never let these people live in peace. Those types of depression that seem to take over someone's life who didn't even have an abusive childhood. In occultism, we believe in the possibility that attachment to these beings in childhood may be responsible for these events. And the audio you're about to hear now may be the best proof of that. You will see the father of a young girl speaking with a colleague on the phone. The man suddenly has to step away for a few minutes, so he puts the phone down. The girl notices the phone off the hook and speaks into it. The colleague from work thought it was such an adorable moment that he started a conversation with her while he waited for the father to return. The result of that conversation was the following.
Oye, nena, ¿cómo te llamas, nena?
Samantha,
Samantha, qué bonito nombre. ¿Y cuántos años tienes?
5.
5 añitos, qué bonito, bebé. Oye, ¿y tienes hermanitos?
Sí. Y un amigo.
Ah, ¿un amiguito? Órale, ¿y viven aquí contigo?
Sí.
¿También tu amiguito?
Sí.
Oye, ¿y cuántos años tiene tu amiguito?
5.
Ah, tiene tu edad y juegas con él.
Sí.
Oye, ¿y cómo se llama?
No quiere que te diga.
¿Y por qué no querrá que nos digas? ¿No quiere jugar?
No.
Ah. Oye, ¿cada cuándo lo ves?
Siempre.
¿Y cómo se llama?
No quiere que te diga.
¿Y cuántos años tienes?
5.
¿Y cuántos años tienes?
5.
You may not be able to hear well what the spectrum says in Spanish. Let me highlight the paranormal for you. When the man asks her age, a subtle voice is heard that replies 100, which is 100 in English.
¿Cuántos años tienes?
5.
¿Y cuántos años tienes?
5.
Later, when he asks the name of the girl's friend, a whispering voice is heard saying in Spanish, "No le digas," or "Don't tell him" in English.
¿Cómo se llama?
No quiere que te diga.
¿Cómo se llama?
No quiere que te diga.
Can you hear the voice? Can you hear the specter say, "No le digas"? Until now in Mexico, this event remains unexplained. Tell me what you think of this and the previous audios, because this video has already come to an end. My name is Leonor Clay, and this was The Darkest Secret.